Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Hollywood After Dark, episode 78 for the 15th of September, 2021. Halfway through the month. Tons to talk about tonight. Venom, George Lucas, Jessica Chastain finally layeth the smacketh downeth on Grace Randolph. All that and more here tonight. Hollywood After Dark, let's effing go. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the program tonight. I'm really happy you guys are all here because, as it turns out, as apparently is now going to be full on blatant competition with the greatest movie talk show on the West Coast post 10 p.m. Pacific. I have to now compete with John Campea, who has decided to kind of like creep into my time slot, to kind of creep in to when I'm live. You bastard, John. You know you can't handle the competition, so you're coming in with a companion video? This is what he's doing now. Look, I like to criticize John, but come on, man. Come on. You got, look, you're in your 40s. You know, you and your wife, double income, no kids. Play video games, man. Play video games, right? Like, don't just like take the space from the rest of us. I'm kidding mostly. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to my channel members here. You guys, you gals, you gang are the best. You guys keep the channel afloat. And of course, the giveaway for the month of September is going to be a Blu-ray, not DVD, a Blu-ray copy of Drunken Master 2, one of Jackie Chan's greatest movies, arguably my personal favorite of his collection. And that's going to be a gift given away this month. So remember to get in on that action, drop a super chat, become a channel member, or join the Patreon, patreon.com/MattJarbo. As we move closer to the end of the year, it is possible I will start probably pushing more of the Patreon, simply because that 30% that YouTube takes is an absolute effing killer. So if you want to support the channel and you can't drop a super chat, nothing like that, totally fine. Slap a like, miss minutes. She won't have to cap you, but if you do it, you won't get shot. And then also, just as my last little quick thing is shilling, last night at the end of the show, I think screw up. I linked the wrong episode of Stranger Days, The Woman Who Killed Nazis. And but that's up for you guys to check out over there. I will link it again at the end of the episode so you guys can check that out if you want. But it was good. Anyway, let's check in with you guys here. I want to see what's going on in the chat. I have a special guest coming in tonight, by the way, guys. I totally spaced on that. I have a special guest coming in tonight to talk a bit about the Venom situation. And that, of course, is going to be the resident Scooper Supreme. Mikey Sutton is on his way into the show right now. So while we wait for him, why don't we say a quick shout out to the chat. Here we got Donovan, Shiny, Music Man, H. Bart's, Rhea saying smack on that like button. Thank you a lot, Ray. Appreciate that. We got Jeff N here. Thank you. E equals MCU is also here. I see Ultimate Marvel Stan. Arturo is here. And let's see, Terrence Martin, Kevin the Collector. I got a couple new faces tonight, right? Yeah, I see Brandon Heaton here. A few new people coming on in. That's fantastic. I really appreciate it. Thank you all. Connor Sturman, Jagger Simmons. Oh my God, you guys are great. Music in here says, we love Mikey. Yeah. So we'll definitely get a bit out of him. I don't know what he's going to say. He just hit me up today and he's like, hey, can I come on and talk with you about Venom tonight? And I'm like, all right. And he's like, okay, what time? I'm like, 10 o'clock. He's like, all right, cool. I literally have no idea what he's going to say. Not even making that up, like flat out. But I'm glad that he's going to be here. So we have a few minutes to get here. Anthony Chabot here says, you are better than Campea. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think John is a fine commentator. But thank you. I appreciate that. And Music Man here asking, did you watch What If? No, I did not. I did not end up watching What If last night. I was like, I needed to play a video game. I played a video game. That's what I chose to do. And then of course today, everything I wanted to do went to hell. So yeah, I'm going to do it tonight before I go to bed. I promise. So let's wait for him. Let's see here. Yeah, I know RJ's like, you still haven't watched What If. I know, I know, I know, I know. I haven't watched it. Again, I meant to. And then, children like get in the way of that sometimes. And that's not their fault. All right. It's not their fault. What If is like really mature. So I can't sit there and like watch the zombies episode in front of my 3-year-old who right now, before starting the show, wanted me to open up the door and like shout out monsters from potentially coming in and scaring her. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't like show a 3-year-old Marvel zombies and then be like, yeah, go to sleep, you little kid. I love you, but go to sleep. So I can't do that. I got to do it. H Parts here says Campia looks like he would host a Food Network show. Yeah, probably. Right now, he's actually wearing he bought one of those, like, it's a Joker jacket. It's actually, like, kind of sad, to be fair. Like, he's like, oh, I just got my new Joker jacket. And it looks like Joaquin Phoenix's outfit from the end of Joker, like the orange suit. And it's just one of those, like, performance jackets, and it's just weird. It just looks weird. It's like the laziest form of cosplay I've ever seen. But he's like, oh, yeah, oh, I got it. I'm wearing it. Like, come on, man. Come on. Anyway, Gaylade here with $2, man. Thank you. Says, so hyped for Mikey Sutton. Yeah, me too. I want to see what he has to say. Jess here for another $2. Thank you. Says, what if Matt watches What If? Well, What If will be one day it did happen. I know. I hate myself for missing it too because I'm a huge Marvel nut. It's one of those things where it's like, I keep meaning to. All right. I keep meaning to. Agent Josh here asking, what was the Sony Twitter leak that you said they're not even trying? What I mean by that essentially is, and we'll talk more about that when Mikey gets here, but what I'm really trying to say here at this point is Sony is not even attempting to hide what is happening with Spider-Man No Way Home anymore. And by that, I also mean in association with Venom. It's in association with Venom. They are not even hiding what is happening in these movies anymore. Like they realize, I think, that they cannot control the narrative. So they are outright just not even trying to control it. Like they're just like, all right, fuck it, whatever, fuck it. It's a thing. It's gonna be fine. Just, what people want to see it. Let's just like, kind of feign, oh no, please don't spoil the movie. All the while, the internet buzz is off the chart. It's off the chain. It's off the chizzy. And yeah, I said it. Deal. And then a lot of it, they're trying to figure it out. Like they're just like, well, let's just roll the dice and let it go. Because look, people are hyped. They want to go see this in theaters. And these movies are right now the ones that are pulling in a lot of money. They're the ones that are really pulling in the cash. So it goes to show you that, again, if it's a well-connected, well put together universe, even though Sony kind of coming on into what I think is going to be happening does feel like it's a bit more, I don't know if I want to say connected, but it's definitely something that they're putting thought into fucking finally. And then it just still makes me feel like DC doesn't know what the hell's going on. So obviously, who knows at this goddamn point? Resident Justice here says, it's very easy to connect the dots and see what's so hyped about the Venom 2 end credits. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's of course that's what it's going to be. Anthony, I don't think I'll be doing call-ins this weekend, man. So I'll let you know. But in the meantime, you don't have to ask me every 2 seconds. Brandon here says, I won't spoil the first 6 episodes of What If. No, I've seen the first 3 episodes. I've just missed the last 3 episodes. It's just been every time like shit comes up, or I just want to I have trouble focusing. So I just like to play a video game because it's more interactive. It's just difficult sometimes for me. At the end of the night when my brain is going as crazy as it goes because I'm a night owl, video games are easier for me to kind of get into and relax off of. Watching a show or a movie gets a little bit difficult if I'm not just kind of in that mindset. Coming off of a live stream where I have to be energetic and I have to be on point, my brain is just moving and moving and moving. So I've got to do something that's going to keep it moving, which is obviously video games. That's kind of the problem. So I just have to see. RJ here says, I don't know what it says about the movie, though, if everyone's talking about the end credits and not the movie itself, because look, these end cap scenes in these movies are sometimes more important than the movies themselves. That's just a reality. You know what I mean? That's just a reality. As good as Iron Man is, everyone's like, oh, hey, remember that first one? Like, I want to talk with you about the Avengers Initiative. It's like, shit, you remember that, don't you? So there's that. Let's see. Agent Josh asks, thoughts on Thor and God of War? Well, considering that God of War, the last one, was all about, like Norse mythology and stuff, it makes a lot of sense that like after Kratos, kills like Thor's kids, right? Ends up kind of like now he's pissed off the daddy. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that Thor is going to be in God of War Ragnarok, and you know what? It's fat Thor. It's more like Norse mythology accurate Thor, not Vincent D'Onofrio from Adventures in Babysitting or Chris Hemsworth Thor. It's very much what you would assume Thor would look like, because the kind of Adonis that we get out of Chris Hemsworth isn't really an accurate representation. Like proper hygiene, not really a thing in Asgard. I'm just saying. All right. Like, like none of those dudes be circumcised. We're talking Smegma City. It's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. The Dark Beast here says Thor's rocking that dad pod reminds me of Amazing Atheist is Thor. Don't tell him that, because Mjolnir is going to become a banana and he's going to throw it and it's just going to go right to his ass. All right. We don't need, if you don't know what that is, do not under any circumstances look that up. I am not kidding you. This is not a joke. It's an inside joke with a certain community here on YouTube. That's what Dark Beast is referring to. Do not, I repeat, do not Google Amazing Atheist banana. Don't do it. You will not sleep if you do. And I know TJ personally, and he'd probably tell you, he would tell you to go and Google it. I'm telling you to not go and Google it. Don't do it. All right. Brandon here says, do you think with the Bob's Burgers movie coming out in May 2022, I do hope we get a teaser trailer soon, but I can't wait for season 12 in a couple weeks. Dude, season 12 is literally like, I think the 26th of the month. So yeah, we have less than 2 weeks till season 12. I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be great. And then hold on. I see Mikey's in the background. Let me answer this one thing real quick. Thoughts on the censorship of Jessica Rabbit? I don't know. I honest to God, I don't know what what are they covering up her cleavage? That's a crime against humanity. My God, she's a cartoon with huge tits. Leave her be. Leave her be. Mikey, you understand the appeal of Jessica Rabbit and the gigantic gazungas.
I was before it came on, I was thinking, okay, we're gonna have a nice, clean conversation with Matt tonight. And the first thing I heard was circumcised, and then I heard tits. Well, there goes that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't apologize for my sense of humor. I don't.
Oh, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
People are like, oh my God, Matt, would you stop with the? And like, no, like this is my stream where I say dumb shit for 2 hours. Feel free to clip it and share it around the internet, because then it will only bring more people to go, what the fuck is this idiot saying? And why do people like him? Like, I don't know. Some people do. Other people not so much. And that's all right. The people who don't like me, bad people. Okay.
See, I don't understand why people don't like you. You're like the most likable people I know.
I'm super easy to get along with. Like, I am. I really am.
I don't know. People who don't get along, they must be assholes, because you've been so kind to me from the very beginning.
Well, I have opinions, Mikey. That's why. I have opinions, and I have a loud voice, and that's generally what happens. But it's like for example, I'm not trying to touch too much in the poop. I am trying to back away from it a little bit. But so like I think it was last night, like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers like held a coping stream. Like they did this live stream to complain and cope and braid each other's hair over everyone making fun of them with the Alex Jones thing. And of course I was brought up, and so was my friend Vito. Who had been like who had like, he caught a lot of their attention by tagging Team YouTube on Twitter, and that was like, ooh, that set him off. I didn't do that, so like, don't put that shit on me. But like, and anyway, like he was commenting on it last night, and I just sent him a DM and I said, hey man, listen, whenever they circle the wagons like that, it means you landed a direct shot.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true.
and then someone else sent me, like, they were like, did you hear what Doomcock said yesterday about Indiana Jones? And I'm all like, hell no, he ain't fucking with my Jones too, is he? And I listened to his video, and like, it is, I feel more brain dead as a result of this. But in the video, he said, and this is great, Mikey, you'll love this. He says, don't take anything I say with anything less than a gigantic heap of salt. And then he's like, these are unconfirmed, unverified rumors. Be sure to take them. And then at the end of it, he's like, also remember to use the hashtag Doomcock was right. Well, if I'm taking a rumor with a grain of salt, and I meant to question everything and not put all my value and faith in everything, why is it literally 5 minutes later you're like, oh, the media confirmed everything I said? Never mind, at the beginning of the video, he says that the media is lying to you. It's a lot of confusing language. Honestly, I'm getting better at kind of picking it apart because I have a 3-year-old who uses the exact same technique. I'm like, did you do this? The answer, and I watched her do it, and she'll be like, no. I'm like, She's like, okay, fine. I'm like, okay, well, go pick it up. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Same concept. This is the same thing. It's all gaslighting. It's amazing what these 3-year-olds pick up. But that's more or less really what I'm trying to, like. It's like all it is double speak and lies and misdirection and goalpost moving. And one day, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, but like one day this is going to get BTFO'd. Because I'll tell you this stuff. I thought about this today too. Right. So last year, this guy named Ketwalski came out and he exposed Doomcock for like taking leaks off of 4chan that were like placed specifically for him to find. And it was this elaborate like months long operation, multiple pieces and parts, multiple people involved, all of this stuff just to like be able to have enough of a catalog to go, yes, this is a fake one. This is a fake one. This is a fake one. Well, in this video from Doomcock that came out yesterday, he talks a little bit about his sources. He's like, my Hollywood spies like to verify and double check what they have heard in order to make sure that I don't run with something that isn't true. But then again, they'll also tell me to run with my own caution or whatever it is. Right. So he sets up this thing like my spies do all the vetting. They give it to me, who can't vet anything because I don't work in the industry. And they'll say, but then they'll say kind of, proceed at your own caution and all. And so it's like all of this double speak of stuff. Right. But anyway, when he got BTFO'd over the Ketwalski thing, those are all Star Trek Discovery rumors that he really dove into. And then ever since then, like he hasn't been talking about Star Wars at all, or sorry, Star Trek at all. So it's like, all right. Like now he's kind of focusing in on Disney and like that angle. So like, all right, you know what I'm waiting for? So I check 4chan. I'm like looking to see what leaks are coming out of 4chan. I'm like, is anyone else doing anything back, like, cause now I want to see what's going to happen. It's going to be very fascinating to see what's going to happen on that one.
Yeah.
I know. Anthony Cheeseman here says, never trust someone called Doomcock.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Once you see that guy, like, how can you trust him? I mean, he's a total character. He's like one of those late night TV horror hosts, back in the 80s and the 70s. If any of you were old enough to remember that, they would have this late night, UHF television host come out in costume or something. Kind of Elvira kind of took over that world, but before her.
So what you're saying is Doomcock needs like a pair of boobs.
There you go.
Going back to my point earlier about Jessica Rabbit, that is also from the 1980s.
Yeah.
Look, did you know, and this is real, this is 100% real. Looking at boobs actually calms you down. Right? If you haven't, I'm not even making that up. I'm not even making it's absolutely real.
No, I believe it. Yeah.
Like men looking at boobs. It just kind of releases this like right? You're like yeah, and then it's like, but then it's also kind of like Oedipal because you're like, wait a minute, hold on, like why would I think that boobs are oh no,
you're a baby, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh wow, my subconsciously I'm thinking like those are like my mom's titties. Oh no, and then you're like, I gotta put the lotion away, and I gotta do all like, oh son of a bitch, but really it's like. Psychologically speaking, it really does like calm you down a little bit. So what we should do is just like recommend to the fandom menace, like go and touch tit. Okay. Don't touch grass because none of you guys are ever going to go outside anyway. but go touch tit. I don't care. Go find your mom's bra in the dirty clothes hamper next to the laundry, at the bottom of the basement. And then you know what? Just kind of smell it, and then maybe you'll get a little bit of that, like the little bit of that whole. Oh man, I remember what it's like being a baby and swaddled in your mommy's arms. As you're getting a nice, like, warm heaping of milk, right? And then you might calm down a little bit and realize that you're kind of an internet fucking chud, and no one likes you. Like, how about, like, I mean, seriously, just like go touch a boob. I don't know what strip clubs are open right now. It's the pandemic, but I'm pretty sure you could find something on Craigslist, or at least some part of somewhere. You could find something, like just go down like to downtown. You'll find a wide variety of people, whatever your flavor or taste might be, and just kind of like wave a $20 bill in the air and just go like, listen, I need to touch a boob tonight. Okay. Who's got one? And it could be a woman, or it could be an obese man with large mammary glands who is willing to just take a hit for the team for that $20 so he can get a nice hot meal. Okay. Why don't you push the economy forward by helping out the homeless directly, and then also copping a feel so you calm the fuck down to realize that not everything out there is trying to destroy your fucking childhood, you idiot chud.
Yeah, that could be the solution to all this, man. Just tits, and just say, you know what, tits are the solution to everything right now.
Sorry, I had to run with that as long as I could. I had to run with that as long as I absolutely could. Hank here says, Matt has really weird, elaborate fantasies. I have a very weird, elaborate imagination. Trust me, my fantasies are nowhere in that category. All right.
Well, because look, we're in the Pacific Northwest. We're isolated. We're surrounded by trees and gray skies. What else is there to do, right?
Yeah, that's true. Real quick here, the Simon Session, $5. Thank you, buddy. Says Googled it. I would rather look at Jarbo's junk movies and what if. We were talking about The Amazing Atheist and Bananas. I told you not to Google it, but I do appreciate.
But you know what happens when you tell people how to do something,
what?
They'll do it.
No, there's no reverse psychology here. What are you talking about? What? No, never go look up One Guy, One Cup. Never.
When I was in my teenage years, I had a boil on my neck, right? And I had to put a bandage over the boil because it kept leaking. And I told my friend, look, I have to change the bandage. Don't look at my neck. Don't look at my neck because there's pus that's going to come out. And so I take it out where the first thing he does is look at my neck. And he almost pukes in the room. Like when you tell people don't do something, that's the first thing they'll do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I like, don't pick at that.
They pick it.
It's gonna happen. Yeah. The humans don't like being told what to do.
No.
And Bite Me is asking, is he done talking about my mom's boobies? Yes. Yes, I am. But as an epic rant, I'm just saying, someone should clip that and
That's
put that
classic.
out there.
That's classic. You get best of Matt Jarbo collection. Oh, you know what? I got a perfect name for it, Matt. Matt Jarbo's greatest hits. What better name is that?
Matt Jarbo's greatest hits or Matt Jarbo's greatest shits?
No, tits.
Oh, greatest tits. There we go. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm a little bit on the heavier side up top anyway, which is I always hate like profile shots of me because it just looks like I'm like lactating, but it's just terrible. Anyway, I'm a fat guy. What can I say? You know what I mean? The fat's got to go somewhere, and it ain't my penis.
He's on a roll tonight.
I had a blonde vanilla latte at like 4 or 5 hours ago, and like it's got 460 milligrams of caffeine.
Holy shit.
And I was like, it's not even working. It's not even working. It's not even. And then I sit down and I start talking, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, here, let me, like, I can go for a while. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So that was my mistake, is to have coffee in the evening. But
this is why your show should be getting like 100,000 views, dude. I'm serious.
Who else
talk about this? Who else?
Yeah, we come in for a movie talk, and let's talk about, like, mama milkers and titties and shit. Like, that's I could look. Look. I'll tell you this. We'll get into the Venom thing here in a second. But like, I spent the afternoon like researching, this double homicide and situation out of South Carolina, where like this mother and son were gunned down. The very prominent, personal injury attorney father had an attempt on his life the other day. He then confessed that like he actually hired his opioid dealer to shoot him in the head in order to kill him, so his son could get a $10 million insurance payout. But the guy who shot him, it only grazed his head, so it didn't kill him. And then you find out that like there's like other deaths that the family has been kind of tangentially connected to or like been accused of. And then you find out that the housekeeper who'd been with the family for 20 years mysteriously died 3 years ago as well. And the dad is now claiming that he had something to do with her death. And it's like, wow. I'm sitting here reading this going, where the fuck is the Lifetime movie?
Exactly. Like man, it sounds like a movie already.
That's some crazy shit right there. So like, I'm waiting for like the Netflix adaptation of that thing, because they've done a couple of those, So anyway, this is hold on. Dark Beast here says, "Don't lie, you're white as hell. It was a pumpkin spice." Listen, you motherfucker. All right, there's a couple things I won't put in my body: cocaine and pumpkin spice. All right, like I don't touch PSL because I am not from the valley anymore. I used to live in the valley. I don't anymore. Pumpkin spice is like, there's pumpkin spice spam now. Do you understand that? Yeah. Do you understand that there's pumpkin spice spam? Like, look, I'm white, but even that's going too far. Okay. Like there is a line white people should never cross. Clearly the furthest example of that is slavery. Don't do it. But like leading up to that, spam. All right. Like pumpkin spice. Because I'm sorry, that to me is complete cultural appropriation of Hawaiian culture.
Yeah.
Like that's like, what gringos coming in there? Are you going to get like pumpkin spice collard greens? Like, no. No, you're not going to get that. Was it going to be like pumpkin spice kosher, ham? No. Wait, kosher ham doesn't make any sense. But it's like, are you going to be able to find pumpkin spice like that is going to be blessed by a rabbi so it is kosher? I mean, is pumpkin spice even kosher? These are the things that I ask questions of when I'm by myself in my car at night. Is what I'm trying to say is pumpkin spice latte is a blight on humanity, and we need to stamp it out. But too many white women spend the money during this time of year. So really blame the whites. All right. And as a whitey, blame the whites. So sorry. Anyway, I'm just trying to make people laugh. That's all I want. Ray here says I'm screeching right now.
How can anybody not like it? I don't get it, dude.
I don't know. Well, the AMPW channel here says Sil Abdul looks whiter than usual. Welcome to Mikey Sutton's Geekosity. Will we ever get a Hawkeye versus Bullseye fight? I guess that's a good question.
Yeah, not for a while. Yeah, Bullseye will be in the Daredevil show. He'll have his costume, so that's really excited about.
Cool. But is it going to be Jeremy Renner Hawkeye, do you think, or is it going to be like Kate Bishop Hawkeye?
So from what I heard, that he retires at the end of that should be a spoiler, right?
Well, I think we all kind of assumed he was going to like this was kind of his swan song.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay. And I heard there's some kind of pushback on that from the certain segment.
Yeah, because they're like, I think, what is it? Like, let me see if I can appropriately give a proper impression. Okay, you guys, it's actually Kate Bishop is a new character that was created strictly to push out Hawkeye and join the MCU. That's kind of the vibe I've been hearing. But in reality, she was created like a decade ago to serve as a companion for a story that people really liked.
Yeah.
So, oh no, a female is entering the MCU. My God, the horror. Please contact your local congressman. Let them know of this atrocity and human rights violation. Again, suck on mommy's titties and get the fuck over it. Like, that's just where we are with this shit.
Well, I think that's the issue there, man. These people aren't getting laid whatsoever. I mean, how can you have such pent up, anger all the time? I don't get it. I mean,
I don't look, man. You know, here's the thing. Here's the reality of when people have sex. Okay, when like if you're in a loving relationship, when you have
yeah,
sex, it can hold you over for a while. Like it may not be an everyday thing. The older you get, obviously, things get in the way, right? Whatever, life happens. But it
yeah,
kind of the intimacy holds you over and it allows you to feel closeness. Your
yeah.
serotonin levels rise, your cortisol levels decrease. You feel
Mm-hmm.
better. These are the people that spend all day without any serotonin or endorphins. Really, any kind of endorphin that comes from exercise or I don't know, positive thoughts. It's all
Mm-hmm.
endorphins from watching the latest compilation of fight clips on the internet and thinking, I could totally do that, you guys. Whatever. And then after that, they're all just beating their meat to whatever outrage porn they're getting off to that day. And then they just feel empty. I mean, both
Yeah,
figuratively and literally, because they're just empty people. They're husks of humans. They're like the Geth from fucking Mass Effect. You know what I mean? They're like the Flood from Halo. They're like the clickers from The Last of Us. They're just mindless autonomous zombies that
yeah,
do not have an original thought in their head, because it all again circulates around this echo chamber that if you try to break or go out of, it's excommunicado. So all these people, they're now even attacking Lashana Lynch for
mm-hmm.
coming out and saying, she's like, when she got cast in the new Bond movie, that some of the comments have made her feel a bit like racial segregation. And they're like, oh my God, how dare you bring that? It's like, dude, when she got cast in that movie a couple years ago, I heard a lot of shit coming out of people because they're like, she's not Bond. We're not going to get a black Bond. It's like, she's not Bond. She's 007. And why did that happen, you ask? What is the key factor in her being put in that position, in that role? Oh, right. If you watched the last movie, because, you all claim to be massive Bond fans. If you watch 2015 Spectre, at the end of that movie, which, by the way, culminated the previous 3 films as well, kind of wrapping it up in a nice, neat little bow, what did Bond do at the end of that movie? Oh, right. He drove off into the sunset with Léa Seydoux for some hot pelvis smashing action. That's what happened. Then fast forward 5 years later, he's retired. This isn't like, he wasn't like Michael fucking Jordan and the goddamn fucking Bulls. They weren't going to retire number 23 when he stepped down. That's not how any of this works. It's a secret clandestine government agency. They've only got so many 00 agents and they're going to refill the position. Do you really think that when 006 died in GoldenEye, they didn't, I don't know, hire a new motherfucker? I mean, they did. I clearly, I'm just saying, it's like it is the stupidest shit in the world.
Yeah.
To some of the arguments that they come up with, and it's it's maddening, Mikey. It is maddening because all I want to do is geek out about movies, but it's like then I got to deal with the fallout from these guys,
Yeah.
and it's like these bottom feeding basement dwellers. It's just I mean, literally, their skin is so translucent; it's whiter than the sheets they put on their head.
Oh man, that's a quote of the year.
That is just really where it's at right now. Why? I mean, anytime a woman or a person of color gets a job, it's like, let me get out there and beat my chest about this. Why? It's ridiculous what they do.
Well, they dish out all this hatred on a daily basis, but yet when a celebrity or somebody prominent fights back, they get all butthurt. I'm like, what were you expecting? Like, I just it baffles the mind. You can dish it up, but you can't take it.
Yeah, I know. Again, if you land any kind of direct shot, and believe me, it's not very hard to do. They circle the wagons, and it's like, no, why is the Uber Eats guy being mean to me? Come on, you guys. And it's like, because I speak the truth, you dim-witted buffoons. You really educated mongs.
You really get under their skin. I've seen it in real time.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's funny.
I hear about it, it's like, why are you going on Jarbo's show and, all this stuff. I hear it all the time.
Because I'm fucking funny. That's why.
And, and you are among the most passionate people about movies I've seen. The way you've seen Quentin Tarantino, the way he talks about movies, sounds like you. You guys both have that same rapid fire, witty way of showing your passion towards certain films. Very similar to you, Matt, the way you guys talk.
I would love to have a conversation with Quentin Tarantino,
Oh,
like
God,
just
that'd be
about literally
incredible.
anything. Like, you know what it is? I don't
Yeah.
even want to talk to him about his movies, and that's like, I don't even really want to talk to like a lot of these filmmakers about
Yeah.
their movies. I want to talk to them about movies they like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like that would be
Exactly.
cool. Like, I'd love to sit down with like Quentin Tarantino and just go like, all right, like, what's your favorite point of view found footage horror film? Right? Because like
Yeah.
that's my jam in regards to like styles of film I like, and
Yeah.
just go see what he has to say, and then I'm like, all right, cool, we can talk about that. And that's one of the elements that I like to do on this show. And
Mm-hmm.
I know I've done it with like H Barts, because when I first met H Barts, who by the way is an amazingly cool dude, and he's great. But when I
Uh-huh.
first met H Barts, he came on the show and we were talking about kung fu movies. Now I like kung fu movies. I'm not the most like well versed in them, but I
Uh-huh.
do. There's a couple that I know, and there's things that I like. And he told me after the word, he's like, none of my friends ever want to talk about this stuff. And then I hear that a lot from a lot of other people, where it's like their friends don't want to talk about stuff, or they're just not really interested in it, and it's like they just like to be able to go and have a geek out moment and shit like that. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I like to do. Like, it's so funny today, and then we're literally, we'll have to get over to the Venom stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
today, one of the guys who usually comments on the stream, and he'll comment in other videos, he found all of my Terminator Dark Fate videos that I did, and then, because here's the thing is, I like Terminator Dark Fate.
Uh-huh.
I really did. I really enjoyed it, and I'm bummed we're not getting sequels. I am. I know people out there hated it, but I think they attacked it before they watched it. The whole opening of the movie got leaked out. The whole plot got leaked out, really. But without seeing it in 100% context, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And so everyone's out there trying to attack it, where it's like, oh, but it negates what happened in number 2. And it's like, no, it just proves time is cyclical. And you're telling me that I can take a hard drive to a repair shop and get a file that I thought I deleted off of it, right? You're telling me that they're not going to send back another fucking T100? Like, I mean, come on. It's kind of dumb. But anyway, I enjoy Terminator, but this guy who's like, he started commenting on like every one of my Terminator Dark Fate videos. And then he gets to the end of it, like, I guess he gets to the review where I said I liked it. And no, it was another video after that. And he's like, that's it. I'm unsubbing. I can't stand this anymore. And I'm like, you're literally getting mad at me over liking a movie that came out 2 years ago. God forbid you ever hear me talk about fucking Spice World.
Well, yeah, there's this odd intolerance towards other people's opinions if they're different from yours, right? And it's just bizarre when I see somebody so enraged because you like something or didn't like something, like, how dare you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, apparently I cut out, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't see the chat. StreamYard's been a little wonky today, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, yeah, it is. I mean, look, I'm not against, even with the Fandom Menace, like, I don't really care about their opinions because it's all hot garbage. But it's like, you can have them, fine. But it's the way that they frame the arguments, and that the way that they act like they've got inside sources when they really don't. And it's like they act like they know everything when they don't. And they get smug and self-righteous. Now, I'm a smug and self-righteous guy, but that's only when I'm right. Or when I know that I'm right. Or kind of all the time. I'll admit it.
Well, I think you scare them, Matt, because you're so articulate, and give them a choice like a regular person would believe you, because you're able to argue the case much better.
I should have been a lawyer.
Oh, hell yeah.
I should have been a lawyer. My mom even said that growing up. She's like, you should be a lawyer. You love to argue. I'm like, I love to argue.
You'd be a great, like, prosecutor or criminal lawyer. You know what I mean? You'd be...
Tell me where the bodies are. Do it. Die.
Serious, man. There is a variant of Matt Jarborough out there who's a top-notch criminal attorney.
Good. Can you loan me some money? That'd be great.
Oh God, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just pay off my house. How about that? I'll sell you the licensing rights for my image, because that's worth nothing. But we'll say that it is. Like Trump. Anyway, there's a couple quick super chats to get to here before we jump into the Venom thing. H Bart's here with $2 says us Mexicans hate pumpkin spice. I'm not Hispanic.
I've never had it, I don't think.
You're not missing much. It's nutmeg. Have you ever had fucking nutmeg?
No, actually, I haven't either.
Okay, have you ever had pumpkin pie? You've had
Oh
pumpkin
yeah,
pie.
yeah. Of
All right,
course,
that's kind of what pumpkin spice latte is. It's like just
oh,
like
I see.
the pumpkin taste, but it's like stronger. But it's nowhere near as good. Like pumpkin pie is the shit. But like this tastes like it tastes nutmeg, and it's almost like, okay, this is probably the best way I can describe it. Imagine a pumpkin as a dude, all right? And like you give that pumpkin a blowjob, and then you swallow the kind of runniness and think of pumpkin. And that's kind of what it is.
So wrong on so many different levels.
So I fully expect
But,
when
you know,
when the chat catches up on that one, it's gonna be insane.
that's worth 100 super chats already, man. I mean, where else can you hear this kind of description? Come on.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I get in trouble.
That's how I feel actually, Matt. Hearing some of the noise from some of the other YouTube channels, that's what it feels like when I listen to all that, self-righteous anger that just is deafening,
Yeah, I just like to have fun. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Ray is like, damn, I'm hurt. I'm sorry. Okay, let's. Simon here with $5 says, "Where are the white women at? In a dark room, drinking boxed wine and listening to Radiohead." No, wait a minute, that's me. At least you admit it. At least you admit it. That's funny. Thank you very much for that, Simon. Okay, Bite Me says, "Is this Hollywood after Smex?" Yes. Yes. I make terrible jokes. You should know that. You're here enough. All right. And then Gaylord asks, is Spidey done with the MCU?
Oh, hell no.
No, God, no. No. Not at all. Not at all.
So much money on the line. Unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Hold on. God damn it. I want to see Sil Abdul fight Matt Jarbo in a cage match. The winner gets Mikey Sutton. Also, how will Deadpool figure into Secret Wars? Well, for one, Sil is on the East Coast and Mikey's like 30 minutes from me. So I win. Two, I don't know how Deadpool would figure into Secret Wars.
I don't think he will. I honestly don't think he will.
It seems like that might be a bit much.
Yeah, they're slowly developing his character and his role in the MCU.
I think they just want to get the third film out of the way. I think that's what they want to do with this.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
is just to get that. That's how I view it, because it's like, like he wants to be like, I don't feel like Ryan Reynolds wants to be contained, but I think there's also like a fear of doing it wrong. Yeah,
there is.
But then again, the writers of this new movie it's not Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese. It's Wendy and Lizzie Molyneux, who are, I believe, the head writers on Bob's Burgers, as well as the creators and head writers on The Great North.
I've never seen Bob's Burgers. Everybody keeps raving about that show. I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, we watch it every night over dinner. Like we're already, they're on season 11. Season 12 is going to start in 2 weeks.
Damn.
We just caught up to season 11 again. Like again. The show is fantastic. I talk about it all the time. You should seriously, if anything, like, do you have Hulu?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
All right. Just go watch season 2, episode 1. All right.
Okay.
Watch the season premiere. That's it. That's just start, like, not start there, but just like go and watch that episode. And if that doesn't sell you on the show, then I don't know if anything really will. But if you are a fan of the 80s, you will like what's on that. You will like that episode. And yes, that is who you think it is that is singing the end credit song.
Okay. I gotta watch that.
So
that's season 2, episode 1.
Season 2, episode 1. Yeah.
All right, I gotta go see it then.
Yeah. And then Ashura says here, read my comment on Mass Effect. I did see your comment. I'm sorry, it kind of went by a little quick. I'll find it real quick here. I know that it was about, there we go. Okay. Saying here, I'm surprised you play Mass Effect. What morality and gender of Shepard do you play as? What do you think of Andromeda or ME4 coming? So I've been playing Mass Effect since 2007 when the first game dropped. I play as a Paragon and I play male Shep. I don't play Fem Shep. I play male Shep. I have no problem with Fem Shep. I just identify with male Shep. So that's kind of how I play it. But at the same time, it's like Fem Shep and Miranda Mass Effect 2. I think I'm missing out on a real scissoring good time. And I'll tell you this. Okay, do you know who the actress Yvonne Strahovski is?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so I don't think it's a stretch to say like she's probably one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
Yes, exactly. I totally agree.
All right, so when she was in Mass Effect 2, she plays a character named Miranda, and Miranda is kind of meant to be like this perfect creation. So because beauty is symmetry, what they did is they scanned her face, and then they folded one side against the other. So they just made her face perfectly symmetrical in order to enhance the perfection of her creation.
Nice.
And here's the thing: you didn't have to do that, right? You didn't have to do it. That was the thing, because she's Yvonne Strahovski. There are episodes of Chuck where it's like ha 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 ha.
Man, I love Chuck. A large reason for that was her.
I had a crush.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's hard
big
not to.
fan.
You're like, for one, she's Australian. That is immediate, and then it's like, yeah, you know. Anyway,
I always felt she should be Silver Sable, but they can never get that character off the ground. There's a picture of her holding two guns, and I mixed and matched it with a photo of Silver Sable holding two guns, and they both look almost exactly alike.
yeah, I
Except
think.
Sable had bigger tits.
Well, you know, I mean, not everything is entirely adaptable, as we've seen from the fake controversy over Cowboy Bebop.
Oh,
God, people are chuds.
Oh, I saw that. Ridiculous.
H-Bart's here with $2 says Syl is a variant of some black-eyed Derek. I know. Yeah. Well, I know Derek. I've met Derek a number of times. And hold on. Ashura says here, are you kidding? You're such a jackass online. Yeah, no, I always play the good character in video games. Like I legitimately I always play the hero character. I might be a jackass, but I'm like, when it comes to like ethics and morals, like I have a conscience. You'd be amazed.
That's why you should be a lawyer, man. Like a prosecutor, you know?
Well, then that would just make me probably an even worse person. So there's that. But all right, and Commander here says, "Are you ready for some 40K Friday tomorrow?" Yeah, we can do some 40K tomorrow. We'll keep it. We'll you know, I don't want to go like too long with it because you know there have been some complaints from people who watched that were like a little okay, you know, like 40K is cool, but do we need it every night, sort of thing. No, I agree. We don't, but it's cool to look at. And I know Raya really likes it. So there's that. All right. So let me just take a quick snapshot here of the time, because we're like almost an hour into this thing. And what I wanted to touch on before we dive into what you wanted to talk about with this was there was an article here from the Direct talking about, and this might be connected because you didn't tell me anything. So Venom 3, Tom Hardy teases Spider-Man and multiverse possibilities in the next movie. And obviously right now, you know, the end credit scene is kind of everywhere. And it's everyone kind of knows what it is. And like, but people aren't really saying what it is. Like they're being pretty vague, which is good. But at the same time, it's like, just fucking say it, you know, like, don't tease me. Don't give me blue balls. Just say it. Just get it over with. But Tom here is, you know, he's saying that, what do you say? If I could find that quote, he says, okay, I think you got to always look at it with these things that comes in threes at the moment. And if it progresses further, then it's normally the initial blocking of an infrastructure or a set of franchise movies that will be 1, 2, and 3 and done. So when Venom 1 was presented, it was presented if it was successful with the 2, and if that was successful with the 3, so one has to look at the whole overarching option. That's like such a non-answer.
God, what the hell?
Yeah. So then he's like, oh, first you establish a character. If people like it, then you take him on a journey. Obviously, Carnage, he is a high priest in the aspect of the arcana of the characters. It's like, wow, you got to go bigger, or you go lateral and build the world you continue to unpack. And then he teased the existence of the Venom-Verse alongside the widely popular Spider-Verse, mentioning plenty of canon lore and mythology that could be explored. The thing is, though, is what people want is this. People want canon. And then he says here, teasing the potential of having the right people and the right planning, Hardy seems excited about where the third Venom movie could take the antihero. So, you know, I don't know. But to tie into this one real quick, Moisture here with $5. I'm really sorry that I missed this, buddy. I am. Saying here, I keep hearing about Spider-Man getting 3 trilogies. It seems like a bit much. Also, has that even been confirmed? Now, I don't know. I mean, that's what I heard too, but I don't know what you know.
Yeah, no. Let me take the first part before I do this one. I've been asking about Venom 3 for a while now. I got word, maybe months ago, that Spider-Man won't be in Venom 3 for one very big reason, is that Venom can't have top billing over Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a bigger character. Um, and so if let's just say I have a scoop tomorrow that'll explain everything. Um, Now, in regards to 3 trilogies, no, there won't be 3 trilogies. There's going to be 3 more Spider-Man solo films, and it's over with number 6, as far as Tom Holland is concerned.
I mean, that would put him, you're looking at like at least another like 9 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's 25 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he probably doesn't want to play the character as long as, let's say, Hugh Jackman has played Wolverine, but I could see them doing that 3rd trilogy and then, if it's popular enough. And I think, again, that all boils down to the deal between Marvel and Sony. If the money is there and Tom Holland is willing, I really think that's going to kind of be the thing. But also you have to look at it like this is, I mean, Feige said today, was talking about like these characters ruining actors, like ruining, and he's like, no, it's kind of the different. It's like you find the right actor, the role takes off.
Yeah.
But if you look at like where, I mean, and this is where I do want to even touch upon Anthony Mackie down the road. Mm-hmm. One of the things with Anthony Mackie today, again, with the Twisted Metal announcement, is that look, Mackie is Captain America now. He's got a show, he's got a new movie coming. He probably doesn't have to do anything else for a while. But he's choosing to he does like a whole bunch of like Netflix sci-fi movies because he knows where his audience is. And that's where his audience is. He's even said like these movies, people are playing a character more than like about the actor. And if you look at the box office right now, that's kind of been reflective, Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense that if the money is there and Tom Holland ain't doing much else, because Cherry kind of came and went, Chaos Walking came and went. If Uncharted fails to deliver, which I have no freaking idea what the hell Uncharted's going to do, then looking at the success of Tom Holland as a box office star outside of the MCU is kind of iffy. Same with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Downey Jr. comes off of the highest grossing film of all time at that time, and he goes right into Dr. Dolittle, and like it came out in January and Universal dumped it there, literally. Yeah. So, where's the Robert Downey Jr. love? Biggest movie star in the world, if you look at the numbers, and can't barely pull in anything for a kids film. I mean, come on.
Well, I think it's because it was so poorly. Wasn't it? I never saw the film. I heard it was pretty.
Oh bad, no, it was bad. Like it was horrifically terrible. Yeah. But that doesn't. But at the same time, like that doesn't always matter. Yeah. Because people will go see a horrifically terrible movie, or even like just a really crappy mediocre film like Captain Marvel, to the tune of $1 billion. Yeah. And it's like even as much as I enjoyed Todd Phillips' Joker, I still don't think that movie is worth $1 billion. I'm glad it did it, but if you start really looking at it past like the surface level aesthetic and the controversy surrounding it, there's no way it would have hit the $1 billion. I mean, Venom it didn't do as well as Joker, but Venom like blew up because it was a better movie than people anticipated. Joker blew up because people thought they were going to die.
Well, yeah, exactly, and I wanted to bring that up too. Is that I think I know a lot of people who wanted to see it because they were being told by the media that it was dangerous. You tell any young person something is dangerous, they're gonna want to see it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, totally. They're gonna if you create that taboo part of it, they're not going to sit there and go like, oh, I shouldn't do this. It's going to be like, wait a minute, you're telling me I shouldn't touch that stove after it's been turned on? Come on, I'm a hardcore alpha sigma male. This is going to be fuck. I totally get that. I totally get that here.
Well, Venom almost plays the same way that like a lot of the feedback I was getting from people, younger people, they were saying it's like a dark Spider-Man, like it's like our generation Spider-Man, you know, and that's what they were attracted to with Venom.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then regarding Tom Holland, I mean, he would love to play Spider-Man forever, but I heard that Foggy wants to keep the character relatively young, just like he is in the comic books. Spider-Man never really ages, you know. Like he was married for a while, then they retconned it, you know, with Mephisto. There's that name again.
Yeah, yeah, and that did not make anyone happy.
No.
All right. So I mean, look, if they're able to pull off, and I know we're kind of going back on that thing from before, if they're able to pull off Mephisto and like they do the one more day storyline and it actually makes fans happy, that is going to be that. Look, they say that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Fuck that. If you can make one more day a viable comic property and make people go, wow, that was actually pretty good, that is a greater achievement.
Well,
than
you know, they did
people.
it with Civil War. That was poorly received. Even Age of Ultron was badly received in the comics too. But they really want to, or Sony especially wants to go on with Miles Morales. That
Yeah.
keeps the character young, right? And of course a fresh new face for Spider-Man. And the Holland story with number 6 where he gets married to MJ. Then have Morales take over. So and that's your plan, right? Maybe, you know, like 10 years after Holland is done, they'll recast Peter Parker. He will have already like gotten over it, you know. But it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Even Wolverine, people are gonna accept someone else besides Jackman right now. They're gonna have to wait a couple more years, and you know, 2024 is what I heard. So
well, and it's funny too. You mentioned that because I was just looking on Twitter and like someone and James Mangold is actually active on Twitter at the moment.
Yeah.
And someone was like, "Oh my God, Logan was the best comic book movie I've ever seen." You know, and he's like, "Thank you very much." And like, so yeah, it's like it's gonna be It's only been 4 years since Logan.
Yeah.
And I still, if they were to come out and say we're gonna do a new Wolverine, I'd be, I don't know about this. It's been a while. I've been able to move past it. Yeah. Obviously, but I'm also like, but Logan was just like perfection in my mind, and we don't need to touch that character for a while. That's not to say that these characters won't ever be rebooted. They obviously will in some capacity, but I think what it is, we're going to get the variations of them. Like with Iron Man, it's going to be, you know, Riri Williams with Ironheart.
Yeah, Ironheart. Yeah. Yeah, she'll be in the Avengers, so she's basically taking Iron Man's place.
Yeah, and that's going to piss off a lot of people. I never thought the character, when they introduced a character, I remember that coming out, and I always thought the story was kind of dumb. But if they change it to where instead of being at MIT and she literally steals Iron Man's outfit and suit, and then she like kind of like retroactively fixes it or whatever, or fixes it up. But she's actually now like she goes to Wakanda and she builds it out of vibranium, or working with Shuri to do it. That is a much better origin story, you know, and that's doing it in a way that's going to like still maintain the root of the character, where she is a very smart, very capable young black woman, but it's putting her in the context of being that, but now around in an environment where it's going to be like not only supported, but very much amplified. And I think that's going to be cool to see how they play out there, because that's going to kind of like, you know, it's not her stealing anything, taking anything from Iron Man. It's her building it and then taking on the moniker in the same vein. Very similar to Kate Bishop is not like, you know, gonna like kill Hawkeye and take his bow or whatever and then like become the new Hawkeye. Like she has that role of the world's greatest archer, but you know, it's not going to be like a replacement. It's a continuation of that character's kind of, you know, legacy, I guess, or whatever. And the thing is, this is what happens in stories all the damn time. You know, it's like in fucking in Harry Potter book 6, Snape kills Dumbledore. Sorry, it's a spoiler. Page 606. Look it up. And you know, but it's not like the story ended right there because a main character died. You know, like the kids, they were all right, fuck it, like we gotta go. They created Dumbledore's army as in book 5 as a way to like protect the school. Well, you know, modeling it after him. And after that was over, the Dumbledore's army still actually fought for Hogwarts at the end of the Deathly Hallows. So it's like, you know, I mean, we could go off on some Harry Potter lore for a while, but that's not really what this episode is about. And I'm just saying, there's a lot they can do with it as long as they give it to us in a way that's going to be like approachable and accessible people are going to be fine with it.
Well, what I love about Kate Bishop in the comics is that her and Clint Barton are like best friends forever. I mean, you don't see that kind of relationship between an older man whose best friend is a young girl, right? I mean, you
Well,
don't see
yeah,
that.
not without a like, hey, what you doing, step bro, kind of mentality, kind of
Yeah,
slid in there,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that.
And I see that a little bit with Shang-Chi, with those two, again, the male-female best friends angle. Not an older man, younger woman, but it's something that I don't really see in movies or TV shows. It's usually they're romantically involved, right? But to have a man and a woman just be best friends. But I'm sure Shang-Chi and Aquafina are. You can see there's some kind of chemistry going on there. Obviously not Hawkeye and Kate Bishop though.
Well,
Um,
yeah, he's married, he has
yeah,
children. She is like just over 20. But
yeah,
in Shang-Chi, they've been friends for a number of years and they have
yeah,
a real strong comfortability there.
yeah,
And they say in these relationships, it's like you are hooking up with your best friend. That
yeah,
makes for a long-lasting relationship. And
yeah.
maybe the people that are so against them getting together are the people that have never been in that kind of relationship.
Most likely, Matt. Most
Where
likely.
yeah, where you've got that, like, because there was that scene in Shang-Chi where he takes off the shirt and she sees him like that for the first time, and
Yeah,
she's like, skaploosh. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. It's
it's like
very real. It's very
you
real. It
literally
happens.
watch Aquafina hit sexual maturity in one scene.
There you
You
perfectly
know,
describing it. Yeah.
it's she's just like, thank God. Well, no, those pants were light, so you can't see the stain. I'm just kidding. It's like it's neon. You're not going to see it. It's fine if there's a UV light, it's going to be covered up. Oh my
But
God, I can't believe I made that joke.
but you know what, man? Are you prepared? Are you prepared for the level of anger and noise when Shuri is revealed as a new Black Panther?
That I mean,
Because
like that happened in the comic book, so like I don't see it as being a thing, but I don't think Letitia Wright is the right way. I think like Lupita Nyong'o's character
yeah,
or like Diana Guerrera would be like or Okoye would be a
yeah.
better pick.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
But it's like Shuri, because Shuri always comes. I mean, she's like the little sister type. She's meant to kind of go into that role, but unfortunately, they kind of have to up the timetable. I get that.
Yeah.
You know, so I get all that stuff. Okay, so let's real quick here. I want to get this one companion. $5. Thank you, man. Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon needs to be adapted because Spider-Man is leading a human rebel group against tyrannical furries. This needs to be on the big screen. You know what? Maybe one day Sony will do it because they're going to need an idea, and we all know that they're really terrible at making them.
Yeah.
So maybe I hear Spider-Man Unlimited is actually a pretty good thing. Thank you for that, by the way. RPK with $5 here says over under 2 more bombs before RDJ calls his friend Kevin. I think if Sherlock Holmes craps out, then but I don't see Sherlock Holmes crapping out. Guy Ritchie's on a bit of a kick right now. Jude Law's on a bit of a kick right now. Robert Downey Jr. needs the kick on
Yeah.
that
Oh, he
front.
does. Yeah.
But ultimately, what we're looking at, I think, is a good reunion, and I also would hope that Jared Harris would come back, as Moriarty. I think he was excellent in the role, and I'd love to see them battle it out again or do something. But it's also been like a decade since the last movie came out, and yeah, I don't know what the hell's
But
going on
have
with
you
that.
noticed, Matt, that a lot of actors seem to be more comfortable being in their superhero roles for a lot longer? I mean, I think of Michael Keaton in Batman. He was only Batman for 2 films, and then he moved on.
Well, I think
Christopher,
I think that's because also Tim Burton moved on,
yeah, he moved on.
and that was and maybe that was just they were connected on that front. I don't know. I mean, I get that. Yeah, back then it was a different game. It was
Yeah,
kind of uncharted territory. Now we're in a position where things are very much different, and these actors are like having trouble finding these roles that like pay really well.
mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, they were getting locked into like these massive 9 picture deals, which they've now said they're going to kind of scale back a little bit and take it more on a case by case basis. I do think that, whatever's going on with Bob Chapek and the reorganization of Disney is going to have a little bit of impact on this at first, but God forbid you get on you know, like Chapek ain't gonna fuck with Feige,
Oh,
not
no
one
way.
bit.
No
Like
way.
not so. Whatever this rumor is coming out of someone like Cameron Pasha that says that there's this civil war between Feige and Chapek, and I asked him about that on a live stream, and he's like, "Well, that's my feeling is that there's a civil war," and I'm like, "Well." I'm like, and he starts talking about some Forbes article that like Chapek had like allowed to go out that was like put him in a bad light, but it was really like 4D Machiavellian chess. And I'm just like, what? And then I'm like, okay, well, let me Google it. And I found what I believe is the article that he's referring to. And that article in Forbes.com is not an interview with Bob Chapek. That was transcribing an interview with Bob Chapek that appeared in like a podcast.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And it was just a summary of like some key points as we've seen these articles. That was it. So it wasn't even like the Forbes was interviewing Bob Chapek, but Mr. Weird, I'm not going to blink that often and stare very intently into the camera, is coming out and saying that this is what he's reading. And like the thing is like no one is going to fact check that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm listening, and this goes for like a lot of different podcasts or whatever. If I'm listening to something, it doesn't really matter who it is, and they say something and it catches my attention, my ear perks up, I'm like to the Google machine. You know, I'm like, let me make sure this is right.
Yeah, nothing scares Disney more than losing Feige. I mean, they would rather throw a Chapek to the piranhas.
Yeah.
They would lose Feige.
Oh yeah, I know, and that's why I mean, like, yeah, it's like, yeah, no, hey Bob, go ahead and fuck with our guy over here, see what happens. Because if anything, look, I'm not trying to invoke mob, connections or similarities here, but like, if there is anyone in Hollywood who is a made fucking man, it is Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
it is Kevin. No one else in Hollywood. No one else in Hollywood is a made man like Kevin Feige. Harvey Weinstein thought he was.
Yeah.
He thought he was. Now his ass is facing, jail in a couple different states. But no. But Feige, here's the thing. Feige, unless we find out that he's literally eating children, I think he's okay. And even then, and I'm not even going to lie, and even then, if it came out that Feige dines on the carcasses of dead fetuses, people are just going to go, okay, I mean, like, look, he's kind of weird, but like, it's Hollywood. Everyone's quirky, right?
Exactly.
Did he kill the babies? No, then they're already dead. What? It's food. I mean, come on, you eat cow, right? Have you ever had veal? Isn't that baby lamb? I mean, come on, like people. I really should not drink caffeine before I do this show. I should really not. I gotta stop. Oh man, I go too fucking far. I don't. Oh, I'm so gonna get canceled for that. So was it clip it out and say like Matt Jarbo thinks Kevin Feige eats dead baby carcasses?
Well, look, you can use I'm from Washington excuse, right? Like the Green River Killer or Ted Bundy.
Yeah,
you're from Washington.
I guess it cut me out again. I don't even know because it didn't show me any indication here. So that's unfortunate.
You cut out for a little.
That was a good one. That was funny. Damn it.
We got the good parts though. We got the good parts. So.
I know. God damn it, that sucks. All right, HWAD's here asking, will RDJ voice Riri and Riri's AI? I don't think so, but that could happen.
Yeah, when I scooped Shuri as Black Panther, I got a lot of pushback at the time, and that's not from the same people who go after Disney all the time. So.
Yeah. No, I get that. I totally I understand. That one caught a little bit of flack if I remember hearing about that a bit back in the day. Now, I guess, okay, so my question is so what do you know about Venom that you wanted to tell me? Because we're like so goddamn off topic.
Well, look, October 2019, Venom was part of the new deal that Sony and Marvel Studios are putting together. And the deal was to have Venom, set in the MCU and be included the way that Spider-Man is included in some MCU films. So what Tom Hardy there is referring to, I'm told, it's not Venom 3. Because then, Venom will have top billing over Spider-Man. Spider-Man is hands down the bigger character, right?
Yeah.
Especially after No Way Home comes out. So I'm letting you know this in advance because it's going to hit the site tomorrow. That Venom will be in Spider-Man 3. I mean, that's Spider-Man 4. I'm sorry, Spider-Man 4. He'll
Sorry,
be,
I'm like, wait a minute. Like, how
yeah,
packed is Spider-Man No Way Home?
yeah. No, he will have a cameo in No Way Home, but he will not
Oh, wait.
be.
Okay. See, that's a new one. I didn't know that. He's gonna have a
Yeah,
cameo in No Way Home.
yeah, cameo. It's a very brief appearance. Might be a post-credit just to set up the sports
Oh,
Spider-Man movie.
well, see, this is the thing. I want to, because did you hear about the post credit of Venom 2? What that is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So today, like Sony Pictures UK had actually like put out this little infographic thing, and they're like, or this little video, whatever post, and they're like, someone saying, "Oh my god, the post credit scene is like the wildest thing I've ever seen," right? And I just
Hmm.
retweeted it and said, "You guys aren't even like." I think I sent that to you. I think I sent that to you, or that was right when I sent to you. Sony's not even trying anymore.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
they've
yeah,
since deleted the tweet. I didn't realize that they deleted the tweet. So
yeah.
they're playing very coy. So I'm wondering. Okay, here's my speculation. I literally have no idea. I'm making that
Uh-huh.
abundantly clear. Here's my speculation. At the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, he's gonna end up Klaatu Verate Niktoing this thing, right? Like we're talking like the end of Army of Darkness
Hmm.
when Ash screws up the saying and he ends up like going, not setting things back correctly.
By
I
Sam
have a feel
Raimi.
it's very same. Yeah, very. I know Sam Raimi, Doctor Strange. You never know. You never know. Could have some
Yes,
influence there.
exactly.
But it's like I'm wondering if that's gonna happen, and then he's gonna end up going over to like the Venom-Verse, and that's where he's gonna be. Because if and I only say that because things that just you hear are kind of like that's where it feels like if it is gonna be a post-credit scene,
Hmm.
then it'd be like, okay, that's where he would end up. That only makes sense because then if they did like Spider-Man 4 could be Spider-Man Maximum Carnage or something, and then have that tie in. How because then that his arc then could be getting back to his time. I just don't know what they plan on doing with it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if they're gonna exit Spider-Man out of the MCU, this is the movie to do it. No Way Home. This
Hmm.
is the movie to do it to kind of move him away, but I know they still have him in for like one big appearance in another big movie. But what that could mean, what if the second trilogy is him in the Venom-Verse trying to reestablish his life there, working with Eddie Brock in San Francisco and not New York? Think of it like Back to the Future Part 3,
Hmm.
right? Or Part 2, really. It'd be more like Part 2.
Hmm.
So it could be something like that, which I'm not, I mean, that could give us then the real Mary Jane or, or Gwen Stacy or whomever. And that could be something, I don't know.
Yeah. So what I heard is the total opposite. Venom
Okay, cool. Cause I was just
goes
pulling that out
to
of my
the
ass.
Yeah. Venom goes to the MCU, which is how he sees the footage of J. Jonah Jameson, Peter Parker, as Spider-Man. Um, and apparently, it's all gonna tie in with Loki. And Loki basically is kind of they keep saying that WandaVision is the beginning of all this. I guess, and you can look at it that way, but really, Loki really set the stage for
Yeah.
this whole multiverse thing. And then Doctor Strange, No Way Home will hammer it home, so to speak. Um, but the total opposite, Venom's going to be in the MCU, which sets up Spider-Man 4, which Feige's obviously producing.
But what about Craven and Morbius and Vulture and the Sinister Six? Because like
Mm-hmm.
clearly they're headed towards that. Unless
Yeah,
unless that
yeah.
unless that's how, because I've heard, there's been rumors or there's been reports, or there's been speculation. I don't even know anymore, to be fair.
Well, there is some speculation that Venom is part of the Sinister Six, and he's not. Um, again, that movie is so stuffed already.
Yeah.
Uh, he's not gonna have Venom like again a big character like Venom in a Spider-Man film. You're not gonna keep it hidden like this. That's something that you would have announced way before.
Yeah.
Uh, like, hey, Tom Hardy Venom's in here, boom, box office. You know what I mean? Um,
No, it's
it's
definitely something.
yeah,
I just don't know what it is just yet. We'll have to wait and see on that, obviously. I mean, look, we could speculate on this all night long, but I kind
yeah,
of feel like we're kind of hitting that circular point of the conversation.
yeah.
Just because we don't, I mean, I know there's things you're probably not saying, and thank you, and also fuck you, but thank you. And because there's things I don't want to be spoiled. Like,
Yeah,
that. Like I've told him,
yeah.
I have told him if there are things like with like Mandalorian that are like huge spoilers, I don't want to know. Like I told him this, like, don't tell me, like, just don't do it. I don't want to know. Cause like he'll tell me things before he posts them, or you'll just like link me your own articles, which is like
Yeah.
really weird. I'll just get like a random like message, like it's your article. I'm like, okay. Like,
I will say this about the Mandalorian, not ruining anything here. That's going to be an awesome season coming up, and there are things I'm not allowed to tell. I'm just telling you. Um, well, if you hear anything from Grace or whatever saying, "Oh, this season's going to suck," or "This will disappoint you," no. So I'll tell you that right now. It's kind of like last year, the whole Pedro Pascal. Remember that whole controversy of him walking off the set, him quitting, all that bullshit.
oh yeah.
Ah,
That
man,
was
it's really
no,
fucking nuts, man. Just
no one believed it,
oh
you
my
know?
god.
But the thing is also, it's like, cause I think like even Grace has been like, oh, they've been pushing it back. And, cause clearly Pedro is whatever. I'm like, he's been shooting 6 months in Calgary, I think, or in Canada. They're
Yeah.
shooting The Last of Us, the first season right now. He doesn't have to be needs to be on set a lot more.
You got cut off again there, by the way.
Fuck. Like this, all I'm saying is like this could be a bit where he has to be on set more because now he's taking the helmet off in front of
Yeah.
other people. Then that kind of goes out the damn window. That
Yeah.
whole like never take the helmet off sort of thing, because now he's with true Mandalorians who are not the more the more extreme versions of the Watch, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, he'll have to be on set a lot more for that, but he's still doing The Last of Us season 2 or The Last of Us show. And that's what he's going to be doing for a while. And quite frankly, yeah, sure, fine. They shoot on the volume. Like it's not that difficult to film around him, because in the first season of Mando, he was off doing King Lear on Broadway. And then later on recording the voiceover work. And the one shot in season 1 when he took his helmet off, the one scene. So it's really not like that crazy of a thing.
Yeah, and also it's not being canceled after what, season 3 or something. There's a rumor going around. I don't know where that
Yeah,
came from.
no, well, no, that came from Star Wars Only, and I
Yeah.
know him. I know Star Wars Only, and
Yeah.
like he's a good guy, and so like
Mhm.
I would trust him on that one, to be honest with you, because I've known him for a while, and so he's a good dude.
Mhm.
So, but what he's saying is not that the show, it's that the show is ending, but the character is not ending. It's just they're wrapping up that storyline. It could be like Mandalorian season 3 could end with him being like King of Mandalore, and then
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
then
Yeah,
they
that
end the
makes sense.
show. Yeah, they end the show because he's found a tribe. He's no longer a
Yeah.
bounty hunter. He's a king of Mandalore. And then it's like now they're moving into the king of Mandalore, or whatever's going to happen with going after Thrawn. Because like that's going to be the big thing next as well, is
That
leading
is,
towards
yeah.
Thrawn.
Yeah.
So obviously, and he's part of that. So obviously, that's what I think is going to be happening. They're going to like maybe end the Mandalorian, kind of migrate into like maybe a Defenders type series, a team up thing, and then give him something else to do. Or, at that point, if it's like 5 or 6 seasons, that's okay. That's a good run. You
Yeah,
can end it at 5 or 6 seasons of a show, and you're getting it in at a good time, and you're not going to end up, running it into the ground like Big Bang Theory. Well, that happened, I mean, after like the first episode. and or Breaking Bad 5 seasons, well-made show, and people still talk about it, and they want more, but it's like you don't really need it. You got a full story,
Yeah.
and that's okay, right? And there's a lot of other characters to play around with, and obviously they're introducing a lot of that in order to really expand a lot more.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, because
I'm just saying, yeah.
5 seasons. What I heard as well is 5 seasons.
Yeah, I mean that's and then the Watcher here says King Mando would be dope. Just don't kill off Bo-Katan. They're not going to kill off Bo-Katan, but they are going to establish her as the villain in season 3. That is going to that is going to be the thing. I'm just saying, it just makes the most amount of sense to kind of move her out of the equation, or for being an ally, because she's going to want the Darksaber. So that's going to be a big. It's really funny tonight, and then we can. I don't know if you need to stick around, or if you can want to stick around, you can bail. But I was delivering to a house tonight, and the woman comes out, and she's got a Star Wars mask, and her husband has like a Chewbacca like robe, and I have my Baby Yoda mask on. And I'm like, all right, my people, and so we start talking, and these are people in like, they're like my age, like near 30s 40s or whatever, and I'm like, and they're huge Star Wars fans, and I'm like, you guys watch Bad Batch? And they're like, oh my god, I love Bad Batch. I'm like, yeah, Mando, oh my, so we start talking for like about 10 minutes just about Bad Batch and Mandalorian, and this is just random people. So, like when you hear people like Tom Connor from Midnight's Edge saying like, no one watches the show, but they know who baby, whatever, fuck off, dude. Like the Star Wars fans are like, they're going to grow up Star Wars fans, but the older fans are still here.
Yeah.
And people still want to geek out about it and talk about it because they fucking love it. And that's the whole point. So,
It just reminded me of something that happened, I think it's 2016. I was at the Emerald City Comic Con. A friend of mine just came back from lunch, and we're just walking around, and I saw this man on an electric wheelchair, like smoking a cigarette. And my friend just started waving at him. I said, that looked like a homeless guy, right? Just on a wheelchair, just smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, hey, you know that guy? He goes, dude, that's Peter Mayhew. Like, I had no fucking idea, man. And went up to him, said hi, got a picture with him later on, but that was weird, man. Just seeing Chewbacca out there just smoking a cigarette.
Well, that happened to me in at Comic-Con 2005. It was on the last day, and it was a Pandemic. The game designer Pandemic had been demoing Star Wars Battlefront, the very first game. And if you played it, they gave you a T-shirt. So I had the Battlefront T-shirt, had a Stormtrooper on it. It's the last day of the show. There's a balcony in the sales pavilion that I just go up there and smoke. That's where I'd go to smoke. I love it. It overlooks Coronado and the Bay. It's fantastic. And I go up there and I'm smoking a cigarette. And I'm kind of hungover from the night before. And I look over and there's this guy in like dark sunglasses, and he kind of keeps poking his head out and like looking at me. And then I look over at him and he moves his head back behind this pillar. And I'm like, oh, the fuck is that guy? All right, whatever. So I'm sorry, just smoking the cigarette, chilling, doing my thing, right? And then he keeps doing that. I'm like, I'm about ready to go over and go like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what's going on? Then all of a sudden, like 4 security guards just like come around the corner, So 4 security guards come around the corner, and then like I see the cigarette drop and a foot put it out, and then out walks Mark fucking Hamill.
Oh wow, holy shit!
And he's the whole time I'm looking at him, and he's paranoid that I was going to like bum rush him to be like, can you autograph my T-shirt? For one, I wouldn't do that anyway. I wouldn't know what to say to him.
You got cut off.
I cut out again. God fucking damn it.
You got cut off when you said the whole time, and then also you got cut off.
Oh, the whole I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Yeah. That's all. Son of a, I don't know what's going on. All right, so I know I'm just pissed off. StreamYard. I even restarted my computer to have a better connection. Like, it's just it has been driving me up the damn wall.
I can see why.
With everything. I'm closing out other programs that might use the web.
So I have to go in a few, but I just wanted to drop something before I left. Finish this Venom article for tomorrow. So a few weeks ago, Matt, you asked me about Cad Bane.
Yeah, I did ask you about Cad Bane, yeah.
And it was, I think, in LRM Online is where you saw it, and you were asking me what I knew.
Yeah.
And I had no clue until this week. I did some asking. I don't have any confirmation that he's in the book of Boba Fett. but I was told he is coming to Disney Plus. They are going to do a live action Cad Bane.
I hope so.
I just don't know which show, but
even the people I was talking to tonight, I did mention, because we were talking very briefly about how D. Bradley Baker has brought like personality to all the clones that he voiced, and how we're all huge fans of him as a result of that. And then I'm like, we're talking about Bad Batch, and I said like, oh, what about like when Cad Bane showed up? And the husband was like, oh yeah, because his wife's like, isn't he your favorite? And he was like, no, he's one of my favorites. And I'm all like, yeah, but I'm like, dude, he fought Fennec, and that's a big thing. So it's like, I think that was them. I think we're gonna get him in the Book of Boba Fett, maybe.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I mean, it's like people who are diehard Clone Wars fans, I think are gonna lose their shit if Cad Bane shows up.
Well, I watched that episode that you recommended to me on Clone Wars. I was just totally blown away. I mean, what a great diehard type story, right? And,
yeah.
And he is just fucking cool, man. Just the way he looks and everything.
Oh no, Cad Bane is badass all the way through.
Yeah,
like I said, there are some arcs in the Clone Wars that are kind of iffy. You're like, all right, let's just move along. But whenever Cad is there, like you're in for some shit, and it's pretty badass.
It's like an awesome Clint Eastwood Western.
Oh no, he definitely has a feel. I Green You Green says Cad Bane is already confirmed for the Book of Boba Fett, wasn't he? He hasn't been confirmed. It's just a rumor.
No.
It's just a rumor at this point. But before I let you go, Mikey, I did just find this real quick on Twitter. That'd be funny to share. Someone put this out. Oh, hold on. I have the banner up. No spoilers.
Oops.
for Venom 2. For Venom 2, no spoilers.
Oops.
So they're definitely wanting people to not say anything about that. But again, it's it's gonna happen. The movie it's like Dune already is out overseas.
Oh jeez.
It's already out. It's out literally a month early, over a month early. And
damn.
And I'm like, really? Like, why would you release it over a month early overseas? It's like, oh, it's because it's going to come to HBO Max here in the States. They're just trying to get the money out. They're trying to get the money out of the foreign markets before it ends up getting pirated to hell and back. I mean, look, financially, I get it. They want to recoup some of their money. But like, I mean, at this point, even Dune Part 2 isn't a guarantee. And I think Warner Brothers Dune goofed on that one. Yeah, I said it, and I'm gonna stand by that pun. I think they screwed up. I think they screwed up by not shooting it back to back, and we'll have to wait and see what happens.
That's a big mistake. Not shooting it back to back, that's a huge mistake.
Did I cut out again? Oh my god. All right, Mikey, I'm gonna let you go, buddy. So I'm just gonna blaze through these last couple stories. But I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out.
Love being here, man. Love being here. Hey,
So
thanks, Matt.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon. All right.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks, Mikey. Be sure to check out everyone geekositymag.com. It's the best way to catch up on all of Mikey's scoops. And there's even one I'm going to want to talk about tonight. Well, not one of his. It's one of his guys. Anyway, what we got here? HBart's here. $2 says Jarbo Wars. Goddamn right, man. He did send me that. I got to download that. Find a way to download that from DM and I can play it. Anyway, all right. So, let me just get a drink of water real quick. That was a lot. That was really good. Thank you very much, Mikey, for coming on. I mean, hell of a conversation. I always enjoy having him around. And okay. You just got to keep hydrated when you do this. So, holy shit, we still have 100 people in here. You guys are fucking fantastic. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. Although I do see there's a dangerously low amount of likes. I only see 39. Come on, guys. Miss Minutes, she demands it. She doesn't demand much, but that she demands. Nah, if you guys want to hit a like, to be fantastic. If not, it's all good. But let's move on to the next thing here because, look, I covered this a little bit last night, but I wanted to dive into it a little bit more today when I just asked the simple question. Is Chris Nolan a diva? Right? Is Christopher Nolan a diva? Because to me, he comes across like kind of diva. Kind of DVE a little bit on that one. So yesterday we found out that he's moving over to Universal from Warner Brothers and he has a list of demands. And this is what Universal agreed to. And I don't necessarily disagree with all of it, but it's like no other director would probably get these kind of terms. So he's getting here total creative control. So final cut. And that's not anything that's like out of the norm, right? A lot of directors do get final cut. That is in their contract. Obviously, he wants to make sure there's no studio meddling. But then again, Universal is not really known for that, whereas Warner Brothers is notorious for it. He wants $100 million budget. A little bit low for Nolan, but I think he's doing that in order to make sure he gets the total creative control. And $100 million is almost like mid-budget level this time around. And what he wants to do is he's making a movie about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the man who created the atomic bomb during World War II. So obviously it's going to be more of it's not really going to have a lot of action in it, I don't think. And it's probably going to end with the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Most likely that's what I'm thinking. But so $100 million can probably go a decent way if it's not going to be as crazy as, let's say, Tenet, and it's more something you would get from maybe the Prestige level. That's what I'm thinking, at least. He wants $100 million marketing budget, which is, I mean, it's the budget size. That's going to be, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know if you need $100 million to budget or to market a Christopher Nolan movie, but then again, Tenet didn't really get into everything, and so that's kind of the thing. He wants 100 days in theaters, so not the what's the word I want to use here? So it's not the 45-day window that a lot of these companies are doing. Universal with Peacock has something very similar. Obviously, he doesn't want this going to Peacock, even though it will ultimately end up going to Peacock. So that is going to be something that does come out of this year. And then he wants 20% of first dollar gross, which I believe is that's the first day. So that would be Thursday night and Friday day would be 20%. Marvel got like 5%, I think, of Spider-Man's first dollar gross. Like really first day is what it boils down to. And then this is the biggest one here. Studio cannot release another film 3 weeks before or after. Now, generally speaking, that doesn't always happen. But, like, again, a studio like Warner Brothers puts out 1 to 2 movies a month in many instances. Sometimes more than that. I don't know what Universal is going to want to do, but when they also talked about this release, does that release apply to things like maybe something created for, in fact, Peacock? I don't know yet. But when I get what Christopher Nolan wants to do, but part of me is just thinking that it's a bit more on the, on the diva side of things. I don't know. Jess here says, short answer, yes, he is a diva. But the thing is, can Christopher Nolan demand these kind of things? Can Christopher Nolan, does he have the clout, if you will, to come out and actually like make these demands and get them? He has not won, Best Picture. He hasn't won Best Director. He's been nominated for a lot of stuff, and his movies have made a lot of money, and there's a very dedicated fan base. However, does he actually, is he worth it? Well, $100 million is not as big of a deal as, let's say, $200 million or $250 million, which are like a lot of these studio tentpole movies. So that is something there to consider. Now, HBarts here does make a point. It says here, he did not understand that did he not understand that there's a pandemic? Well, the truth of the matter is, he did, but he's also the one who pushed for releasing Tenet in theaters. Now, at the time, that was between both Disney with Mulan and Warner Brothers for Tenet. Neither one wanted to be the canary in the coal mine. Neither studio wanted their film to ultimately fail on that front. Well, unfortunately, when it came to Tenet, even though it still did $300 million worldwide, it could have done a lot more had they waited and let Mulan go first, and Mulan kind of tank and burn and everything. So I don't quite know about that, to be fair. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the futurist stuff. But I'm just saying right now, it's going to be a thing. I'm hoping the movie is good, but I'm also really wondering just how much of this is going to his head. So I do want to hear your thoughts on this one. Be sure to let me know on that, because it is definitely something worth talking about here. So, all right, let me take a quick look here at the chat. Obviously, you guys are asking about the Grace Randolph situation. So, yeah, let's talk about the Grace Randolph thing really quick. Grace was not trending today on Twitter, but Jessica Chastain was trending today on Twitter. And this is what Jessica had to say.
I hope this will happen. Social media can be a negative place. And there was one moment where I was getting, attacked by someone who was being quite mean to me. And I was like, where is this coming from? And I clicked on the platform and I started to get to know the person. And I saw some sadness and some difficult things that they were going through in their lives. And I thought, this is where it comes from. So I hope that you watch a film like this and you understand that you can reach across and try to heal someone. I hope like anyone who feels unloved and unseen and unworthy will see the film and know that they are absolutely deserving of God's grace.
Well, what do you know?
I mean, look, at this point, you guys know for a fact that she is talking about Grace. You guys know for a fact that she is talking about Grace Randolph there. To me, that's really funny, to be honest with you. I'm laughing about that because Jessica is like, look, I was being attacked. And if you ever listen for some reason to Grace Randolph going after Jessica Chastain, it's always super critical. It's always super critical and it's always kind of going after. And everyone's like, why do you hate Jessica Chastain? Why do you dislike Jessica Chastain? What the hell is going on? Why is this happening? And really, what it boils down to is like no one has, is this, people have asked, like, is it jealousy? Is it like, Jessica pissed on her Cheerios or something along those lines? I don't know, but it's funny because it really does feel like Jessica Chastain is looking at Grace Randolph and saying like, yeah, God, you say some things about me, but I just can't. I just kind of pity you, And I have this other clip. All right. No, I know Zeros here says, damn, Grace sounds crazy. Hold on a second. I found this other montage and I jokingly tweeted out that this was Grace Randolph's audition for a DreamWorks animation movie.
Well.
That was floating around on a thread today too. That was pretty funny. I just thought that was really hysterical that she does all that. Look, I don't hate Grace. I think it's kind of funny to give her a little bit of crap. The watcher here says, oh God, make it stop. I know. Duck Dodgers here says she sounds like the goose from a Looney Tunes cartoon. Now, Sure Hair does ask, why is Grace always comparing Marvel movies and shows to DC? It's like a common flex from her. It's sickening. Look, we live in a society that has always kind of valued competition. And I think people view Marvel as like the gold standard, but they view DC as like the underdog, right? So by viewing DC as the underdog, it definitely kind of allows them to kind of have that comparison. Whereas like DC does some things right, like animation, and his TV shows are great. The movies, like the ones that Zach's done have been awesome, and the other ones have been okay, but it's like there's a dysfunction there. Whereas Marvel has like uniformity, and that really does help it, right? There's a belief in the product, a belief in the people behind it, and that comes through repeatedly. Even when there's flaws, they just kind of buckle down the hatches and boost to get through, and that's great. DC doesn't really have that, and I think that's why she does it. Also, it creates clicks. Like DC fans are going to get angry. Marvel fans are going to laugh, right? But it's all clicks and stuff like that. That's kind of how I see it, to be fair. Let's see here. All right. Ray here says, I think she knows her own meme value. Yeah, I think so too. And then HWAD's here with $5, buddy. Thank you. It says, Grace also hates Henry Cavill, saying he is a diva. Well, okay, so on that one right there, I agree with you, and I do disagree with you a little bit. I don't think she hates Henry Cavill, but she definitely has thoughts about him and how he handled the Superman thing, because she was saying she was saying that like, he kind of handled it like a diva. He didn't support Zach, all this kind of stuff. But I think also like because of who his management is and the management style of Danny Garcia and the connection to The Rock, like they're all about business and they only really do anything that like when it benefits them. And that's probably more along the lines of what happened because they're still probably they were probably still in some kind of negotiation with Warner's. Like remember when they said Henry Cavill was out and he put that Instagram story of him holding up a Superman toy and that was it. Like that was a big deal back then. And so I think that's kind of what was going on. But the thing that pissed me off though, is when she came out and she said that Henry Cavill was basically closeted gay. And a lot of people like really took a bit of offense with that because for one, it came across as a little bit homophobic. Now look, gay men in Hollywood do exist in the closet. That is a reality. Even though we are in a much more culturally accepting time, gay marriage has been legal since 2013. So 8 years of that. And it's not, it's okay to come out in many instances. Not everyone does it, right? Not everyone does it, especially when you have a brand to protect and you're an actor. That doesn't mean that Henry Cavill is homosexual. Clearly he's not. He's more of like of a romantic type that, not like a confirmed bachelor, which would have been the terminology used like 100 years ago. But no, he's more of the, like, he waits and he's not looking to rush in on anything. He takes his time with it. But her coming in and saying, oh, he's closeted and he's, and all this stuff was just like, come on. Grace strikes me as a person who lacks a high amount of like social awareness. And many of us do in those kind of instances. Like I run my mouth all the time. I was making jokes earlier about like pumpkin blowjobs and stuff, and like, that's how they get pumpkin spice is like, anyway, making a pumpkin come, but that's irregardless. That's beside the point. I think that's really what it boils down to here. It's like, she just says dumb things. She doesn't think about anything she says. And then because she has such a large platform, people pay attention. And I know a thing or two about like people digging into videos and clipping certain things out without context that do kind of show you in a not good light. I know that firsthand. And the bigger the show gets and everything else, the more that's going to happen. And that's part of it. That's absolutely part of it. But I think Grace is she just kind of runs her mouth a little bit. And that ends up being the problem. But thank you very much for that, H-Barts. I really, really, really appreciate that. Now, Ashura here does say Cavill could be bisexual, which is possible. Rational asking, does Grace have kids? I don't believe so. She recently confirmed she was straight, but I don't think she is. I don't think she has children, and that's okay. That's okay. She doesn't. We don't have to. We don't have to do that. That's all right. So yeah, that's kind of what happened with that. There wasn't much. It was just Jessica Chastain came out, laughed a little bit at it, and that was really about it. I did want to get to this one here from Shogun Orta saying, best I heard, this is just his starting negotiation point. Oh, we're talking about Christopher Nolan. No. That was in the Hollywood Reporter. That was what was negotiated. That wasn't start point. They wouldn't announce it if it wasn't negotiated, but thank you for that, buddy. Appreciate it. Did I not get to this one? H-First, I thought I did about the pandemic, but let me double check if I missed another one here. Jarbo Wars. No, we looked at that one already. I don't think I missed a super chat unless, I'll take a quick look again, man. I don't want you to feel left out. So yeah, H-Barts here just says though, Henry just wants to play PC games. Yes, that is basically about it. Henry literally just wants to paint Warhammer 40K images and like build a PC and play The Witcher again, and then go actually play The Witcher on TV. And that's what he wants to do. And like, let him do it. It was about Syl. I must have missed that one. I'm sorry, buddy. I don't see it. I'll go take a quick look here in the thing. So, all right, let's talk about the next thing here really quickly that I wanted to get to. And that is, apparently, according to Discussing Film here, George Lucas is getting a 6-episode docuseries about him and Industrial Light and Magic, and Lawrence Kasdan is set to direct. So I am definitely excited to see what comes up with that one. Hold on here. Hold on. I missed talking about your super chat. Oh yeah. Sorry. Andromeda. I never played it. And ME4. I kind of don't care, but maybe I will down the road. That's kind of what's going on with that one. So thank you. And so anyway, so yeah, Lucas here getting this 6-episode docu-series to me that, okay, if you look at what Disney's been doing with like the behind the scenes of The Mandalorian and all their Disney Gallery stuff, their docu-series about like the making of this shit is really cool. Now, don't get me wrong. It is entirely created for PR content. It is this docu-series right here, in my opinion, is being designed and implemented predominantly to go along with the release or the opening of George's Interactive Museum in Los Angeles. That's what I think is going to be happening. So at this point, I feel it's basically like, this is what they're going to like kind of do with that. But like seeing the origins of ILM, the origins of Skywalker Sound, the origins of Skywalker Ranch, how, TH 1138 came about, or THX 1138 came about, how American Graffiti came about, how Star Wars came about, what came after that. Like, what if they talk about like the toy line, the merchandising from the 80s, like how that whole thing played out? They talk about Indiana Jones. I mean, they could talk about his entire career. Sure, it's 6 episodes. They're going to probably focus more on like his biography as well as ILM. And like, it's moving the needle in regards to visual effects and CG, how it has been like on the forefront of that. So that's going to be pretty cool. But there's so much about this man's life to dive into that it would be really, really, really sweet to be able to see this thing play out. And you know what? Protos X here makes a great point. What about LucasArts? That would be great. That would be awesome. Can we petition anyone at Disney Plus to make a thing about LucasArts? That'd be fantastic. Origins of Skywalker Sound, just farting into a microphone. Well, that could be a thing. So I think it'd be pretty cool, man. I really would love to see what George Lucas, what the story of his life. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And I really want to know ultimately what you guys have to say about that, because I think it's pretty cool. So, okay, let me just, I'm trying to find H. Bart's super chat here. The one about Syl. I thought I got to the ones about Syl. Let me just make sure I got that here. Okay, supers. All right, hold on. Syl is a variant of some black guy. Yeah, we talked about that one, man. We talked about that. Yeah. Because I know some black guy. I know Derek. So yeah, we talked about that. So thank you very much for that one. Okay, so real quick here, I just want to touch upon this for a second because, like, what the fuck? What we have here is we have got Warner Brothers coming out today and saying, like, hey guys, you know how you all hate reboots and remakes and reimaginings? Let's do The Bodyguard. That movie. That's a really great film, and everyone loves The Bodyguard. And they want to remake it. And you know what? I tweeted out and I just said, but why? But why? I mean, there's money, but it's like, who are they going to get to play the Whitney Houston character? Is it going to be like Cardi B? Is it going to be like maybe Rihanna? Maybe Rihanna, something along those lines. Or are they going to get like someone like Taylor Swift and they're just going to like have it be that? I don't know. Is it going to be, Megan Thee Stallion? Right? Who knows? It could be, I don't know. It's just like, it's one of the stupidest things. It's one of the stupidest damn things. The Bodyguard is a great film. And I love the movie. And you're not going to be able to top, I Will Always Love You. You're not going to be able to top that. You're not, it won best song at the Oscars. You're not going to be able to top that. So don't even try. It's like, the remaking the Highlander movie. Sure. All right. I kind of can get why they can do that, but like doing it without a Queen soundtrack, it almost feels blasphemous. Whitney Houston is sadly passed on. Just leave it alone. It doesn't need to be remade. Why not? This is Toby Emmerich, by the way. Toby, make original content. All right. Make original content. Do it. Jennifer Hudson, maybe. Bite Me here says, let's remake Flight of the Navigator. Oh, did you see that article today? I didn't grab it, but there's the article that's talking about how apparently Bryce Dallas Howard is going to be remaking Flight of the Navigator for Disney Plus. Like, fucking really? Just re-release Flight of the Navigator. My God. I agree with the Watcher here. Here we go again. You know, some movies should just be left alone. 100%. This doesn't need, like, it just goes to show you how everything is kind of, you know, how everything is just stupid, really. Unfortunately, guys. Unfortunately, that is just where we find ourselves. Alec Bird here says it will be a gender swap. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. It will absolutely be a gender swap. And that's because it's like, that's where things are right now. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know, if it's a female bodyguard and it's a male singer, that's cool. Or it could be a female singer and a female bodyguard. That's fine too. But like, make it something original. Like, just make it something original. Let's see. Whatever happened to the female lead Back to the Future? What are you talking about? The female led Back to the Future? There's no Back to the Future remake. No. Zemeckis is basically making sure, and the producers are making sure that movie, it will never be touched again. And from a remake perspective, but I mean, you don't need to like remake The Bodyguard. Besides, they already did that Richard Madden show, The Bodyguard, out of the UK that won like all these awards and shit. You know, you don't need to do it. But no, it's creatively bankrupt. So speaking of creatively bankrupt, but in a way that I'm interested, apparently Anthony Mackie has now signed on to star in the Twisted Metal live action adaptation. Now, this is one that I'm kind of iffy on, to be fair. I like the idea of creating content around video game shows, or video game properties. And Twisted Metal is definitely a cool series, but does it have enough lore there in order to make it an actual show? I honestly don't know. The last Twisted Metal game I played was Twisted Metal Black. As far as I know, they haven't made a new one in like a long time, but now they want to do a TV show, which could only tell me that a new game is on the horizon. You know, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know what's going to go on with this one. I think the chat is like running really, really behind on everything. No, Ray here says Twisted Metal was a fun series on PS1. It absolutely is. I mean, the game is fun. On PSP, my God, Twisted Metal Black on PSP was awesome. Awesome. My friend and I, this is true. One night, way back when the PSP came out and the Twisted Metal game came out, my friend and I, we wanted to play multiplayer. And we were at his place and he didn't have Wi-Fi because his mom was like really paranoid about it. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. And he lived on Coronado Island in San Diego. So it's an actual island, right? So what we were doing is we got into my car. And at the time I was driving an 87 Mercedes and I had a sunroof. So he literally like stood up out of the sunroof, you know, and he held his PSP and he was just refreshing the open Wi-Fi to try to find us a place where we could get someone who had maybe a non-password protective Wi-Fi that we could hook into and then play from my car. We drove up and down the different streets trying to find an unprotected wireless access point. Ultimately, didn't find one there, but we did find a coffee shop on the edge of town that was closed, but their Wi-Fi signal was open. So we just parked my car in front of that and we both went and sat down on the street and like lit up cigarettes and we're playing Twisted Metal over I think Ad Hoc, whatever it was, right? That was a lot of fun. I think it was like the last time I played one of the games too. It's a blast. I'd like to see more. So let's see what's going on here. All right. So Anthony Mackie is looking to get Fast and Furious for Sony after signing on for the lead role in the studio's adaptation of Twisted Metal based on the vehicular combat video game franchise, the series. So it's a series. We'll find Mackie playing John Doe, a motor-mouthed outsider who is offered a chance at a better life, but only if he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. With the help of a trigger-happy car thief, he'll face savage marauders driving vehicles of destruction and other dangers of the open road, including a deranged clown who drives an all-too-familiar ice cream truck. That's right, my friends. Sweet Tooth is hitting the open road. Sony Pictures Television and PlayStation Productions are developing the series, and it's based on an original take by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the writers behind Deadpool and Zombieland. Holy fucking shit. It is flat out Mad Max. Dude, this is Fury Road. Twisted Metal Edition. All right. And Sweet Tooth is like straight up going to be fucking Morton Joe. He's going to be a Morton Joe. So who the fuck is going to be is going to end up being the Doof Warrior? That's my question. But this is fucking, this is flat out Mad Max, right? I mean, like, it's like we got to deliver a package across an apocalyptic wasteland, and we're going to be chased down by a whole bunch of very over the top and very destructive cars. It is very much Twisted Death Race Metal. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And you know what? I was kind of first like a little iffy on it. I was like, I don't know. You know what? Maybe not. Fucking sign me up, baby. Hell yeah. Look, I don't give a fuck. That sounds awesome. All right. Like, I don't even give a shit if it's bad. Like that just sounds like fucking fun. You know, you put on some like badass, like 80s, like fucking hair metal to it and shit, and just have some kick-ass action montages and then like just driving through like the dunes of the post-apocalyptic world and shit. Like, and this is like blowing up cars. It's going to be dope. Hold on here. Astro Josh says, I bet the Twisted Metal show will be on the new PlayStation Plus TV and movie part of the subscription. I don't think so. I think they're over that. They tried that with that show Powers and, or Power or whatever the hell it was called. I think it was Powers. It didn't work out very well. Do we know more information on this one? All right. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to be at, but this to me, like, HBO is where they're doing The Last of Us. So I could assume that this could be something that they're doing through maybe Amazon or maybe HBO Max or something. I don't know. We will have to wait and see, but obviously I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm actually pretty down for it, to be honest with you. So, all right. And then I want to talk about this Geekosity scoop last. Hold on. HBart's here with $5. Says, speaking of Mad Max, I don't like Fury Road. Should have had Mel. I don't know how you can't like Fury Road. I mean, I can understand not liking Tom Hardy, but he wasn't even like the main character of that movie. In fact, in almost all the Mad Max movies, it's like rarely, at least, the Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome, Max wasn't even really like the main character in it. Like, he was there, but like it was about him and other people. And I thought that it was a lot of fun. I don't know why you don't like it. He was barely in it. So it's gonna be great. Anyway, here. So finally, let's talk about, this is something that popped up tonight. Margot Robbie could make the leap to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's kind of a big deal. You know, it's kind of a big deal on this one. I think a lot of people out there may not realize that this is kind of a huge thing. So this isn't written by Mikey Sutton. This is written by Edwin Francisco. But more or less, right, this is what they're saying here. Someone asked him, will you invite any actors or actresses from Suicide Squad for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? And he says, that is a distinct possibility. Now, Gunn didn't say who he would be using, obviously, but then again, you know, you had Sylvester Stallone in Guardians Volume 2. He was in as King Shark in Suicide Squad. He is rumored to have a much larger role in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Michael Rooker had crossover from Guardians to Suicide Squad. Nathan Fillion has had crossover from Guardians to Suicide Squad. There are people who do make the crossover. Steve G, obviously, I think Steve G was in Guardians. I think he was one of the Ravagers. Obviously, Sean Gunn. There are characters that are going to come over, but I think what people are talking about is going to be like, is Margot Robbie going to make this? Now, this is what he says about this here. There's a high chance that Gunn will use Fillion's. It's a possible, they said here that, hold on, I want to see this thing here. All right. So when it comes to Margot Robbie, Gunn said that he wants to work with Margot Robbie again. And Margot has said that she wants to work with him again as well. She wouldn't have done Suicide Squad without James Gunn, obviously. That's all kind of PR stuff, more or less. But here's the thing. I don't know if they're going to make her, if she's going to make a jump over to to Guardians Volume 3. Because it would be a small role, and that's not really something she's after. But let me kind of summarize it like this. Margot Robbie's influence as Harley Quinn in the DCEU feels like it's kind of waning at this point. Obviously, with Birds of Prey coming out at the beginning of the pandemic and failing to really kind of do a lot of money, it did like $400 million. It's not terrible, but we don't know what the PVOD did. We don't know how that did. And then also Suicide Squad coming out 18 months into the pandemic, and there being issues with that, financially speaking, at least. It does feel like the public's love of Harley Quinn has kind of died because they haven't had a lot to kind of hold on to. And I could see her maybe coming to the end of her contract and deciding that she wants to maybe take a jump and head over to Marvel, where clearly there is proper planning, clearly there is proper discussion, and clearly there is proper treatment of actors. And if Warner Brothers is losing people like Christopher Nolan for how it's acted in regards to the pandemic, how do you think some of the actors are feeling? Right? How do you feel about that a little bit? Maybe Margot wants to get away from the DC family because there's been that renewed massive interest in the Ayer cut, which she is absolutely aware of. So I don't know. If she makes the leap over, she's going to be too big of an actor to put in a small role. But who could she play in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? What would be a character you'd like to see her play? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I haven't really given it much thought because she's kind of perfect as Harley Quinn. But if the job isn't there and the money isn't there and the money at Marvel is better, I could totally see it. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But obviously it's going to be very interesting as time goes on. So let me know what you think about this one here. Ashura asks, do you think there might be a what if live action? And do you think a person like Haley Atwell's character would look old based on real-time aging? No. I mean, Haley Atwell is like gorgeous. She's a goddess. So I think she would, I think she'd be fine. And I think Captain Carter will make an appearance. I do think that will happen, but I don't think we're going to get like a full-on live what if adaptation, if I'm being honest with you guys. So Jess here says Firestar. H-Bar says Silver Sable or Gwen Stacy. She's a little old for Gwen Stacy, dude. She's a little old for Gwen Stacy. The Watcher here says Emma Frost would be a good one. All right. Yeah, Emma Frost could be a good one. I mean, January Jones played her in First Class, albeit without any personality. So I get that. But we'll have to wait and see how that's going to go. She could do Gwenpool. Margot Robbie does have comedic chops and she could have good chemistry with Ryan Reynolds. And that could be something that pops up maybe in a crossover. I don't know. Sue Storm. Seafood, that's a very interesting take on that one. I haven't thought about Sue Storm as they're getting ready to start casting for Fantastic Four. I mean, that would be a long-lasting gig and one that would, but I don't know. That would be part of a family dynamic and not be her own standalone movie, which is maybe what she wants at this point. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. That was actually a pretty good suggestion there. And then I see H-Worth here also dropped it here as well. So you guys are on the same page. Great job. That being said, guys, I have got to wrap this thing up. We're a little over 2 hours. I appreciate everyone for hanging out. I appreciate Mikey Sutton for coming on. I appreciate everyone who's been tossing a like and definitely supporting via Super Chats tonight. I hope you guys had a good one. We'll be back on tomorrow night for the Friday episode of the week, basically. And we'll be looking at a lot of different things. We'll be looking at some stuff, watching some 40K, talking about the news and everything else. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Have yourself a great night. Go watch something fun. I love you lots. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And remember...
Well.